Have you ever spoken to a woman and felt like she could see right through you? Like every word you said either made her more interested or completely turned her off? It's not magic, it's psychology. And the truth is, every great man in history, from Marcus Aurelius to Machiavelli, understood this silent power, the art of influence through calm control. If you've ever wanted to master the deadly art of talking to women, not by manipulation, but by mastering your own energy, then you're in the right place. Because in today's video, we'll explore 10 timeless suggestions inspired by Marcus Aurelius, infused with the dark psychology of Machiavelli, that will completely transform the way you communicate with women and with yourself. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe and like this video, because what you're about to learn could literally change the course of your love life forever. So stay till the end, because the final suggestion will reveal the one trait women can feel even when you say nothing at all. 1. Command yourself before you try to command others. Have you ever sat across from a woman, maybe someone you really liked, and for some reason, the words just didn't come out right? You wanted to seem confident, calm, collected, but your heart was racing, your palms were sweating, and your mind was screaming, "Don't mess this up." And after it was over, maybe she lost interest, or the energy just faded. You started thinking, what did I do wrong? That moment, that pressure to impress, is exactly where most men lose control. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor philosopher, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." He wasn't talking about dating, but the wisdom fits perfectly. Because in love, especially when you're talking to a woman you desire, your greatest battle isn't with her, it's with your own mind. Let me paint a picture. Imagine you're on a date. She's stunning, her voice, her smile, her energy. You're trying to keep it cool, but deep down, you're panicking. You wonder, am I saying the right thing? Does she like me? Should I crack a joke? Every thought like that pulls your attention away from the moment. You stop being you. You start performing. And women can feel that instantly, because when a man loses control of himself, when he becomes nervous, reactive or desperate, she doesn't just hear it in his words, she senses it in his energy. Your tone gets shaky, your eyes dart, you start over-explaining yourself. And that's when she emotionally checks out. But here's the truth Marcus Aurelius would teach you. You don't need to control her reaction. You only need to control your own. That's the secret Stoic lesson. A calm man is magnetic, because when a woman feels your grounded energy, she feels safe. And safety is the foundation of attraction. So next time you talk to a woman, don't think about what to say. Focus on how you feel while saying it. Take a deep breath. Slow your voice. Hold eye contact. Be present. Remember, she's not judging you as much as she's reading your energy. Think about it. When was the last time you spoke to someone who made you feel instantly calm? Didn't it feel different? Didn't it make you trust them more? That's the energy of a man who's mastered himself. Machiavelli would call it commanding presence. Marcus Aurelius would call it inner discipline. Both mean the same thing. You are unshaken. Even if she pulls away, even if she tests you, even if she looks unimpressed, you stay grounded. Because when a man can control his emotions, he controls the entire interaction. That's the first step to mastering the deadly art of talking to women, and not by trying to impress them, but by becoming a man so composed that his silence speaks louder than any pickup line ever could. 2. Speak little, observe much. The silent power. Let me take you back to a moment that every man has experienced at least once in his life. You're sitting across from a woman you really like, maybe at a cafe, maybe in your car, maybe it's late at night after a long talk. Her eyes are sparkling. She's saying something that half of your brain is trying to process, but the other half, it's panicking. You're thinking, what do I say next? How do I keep her interested? So you start talking a lot. You tell stories, you try to be funny. You fill every silence with words, because silence feels dangerous. But here's the truth most men never realize. In silence lies your power. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference." In conversation, most of what men say makes no difference, because they speak to impress, not to understand. Now imagine this instead. You lean back, you let her talk, you observe. You notice the way she plays with her hair when she's comfortable, how her eyes shift when she's hiding something, how her tone softens when she feels safe. In that silence, you're not losing control, you're gaining it. Women are emotional creatures. They don't just listen to your words, they feel your presence. And when you're still, when you truly listen, she feels that presence. Here's what's fascinating. When you speak less, your words start to mean more. Every sentence lands with weight. Every pause draws her closer. Because in that moment, you're no longer chasing attention, you're commanding it. Machiavelli would call this strategic silence. He believed that powerful men never reveal everything they think. They let others speak, expose their motives, and show their cards, while they themselves stay quiet, composed, calculating. You see, silence isn't emptiness. It's observation, and observation is how you learn what truly moves a woman. Think about your own love life for a second. Wasn't there a moment when you felt like you said too much, maybe texted too soon, explained too deeply, tried too hard? Didn't that energy push her away? It wasn't your words that ruined the moment. It was your need behind those words. Now imagine doing the opposite. Imagine being the man who speaks when he wants to, not when he has to. The man who looks into her eyes and listens. Not because he's trying to get something, but because he's studying the soul behind those eyes. That's when women start to open up. They feel seen, understood. Because a woman feels more attraction toward the man who hears her silence than the one who keeps breaking it. Marcus Aurelius mastered the art of stillness, the ability to sit in peace while the world burned around him. And in a conversation, that same stillness makes you unshakable. When you're silent, you're unpredictable. She can't read you, and that mystery is magnetic. When you do speak, she listens, because every word carries intent. So next time you're with her, remember, you don't have to impress her. You have to feel her. Let her words flow. Let her energy speak. Let silence build tension, because that tension is what makes her heart race. And when the time feels right, look at her and say something simple, something real, not rehearsed. That's when she'll feel something she hasn't felt in a long time. That rare moment when a man doesn't just talk, he understands. That is the silent power Marcus Aurelius lived by. And that is how you make a woman fall for your calm, not your chatter. 3. Never explain, never justify. The law of power. Have you ever been in that painful situation where a woman questioned you about something innocent, and you found yourself explaining and explaining until even you started to sound guilty? Maybe she said, "Why didn't you text me back last night?" And you jumped in nervously. "Oh, I was busy with my friends. My phone died. I meant to reply, but I got home late." And halfway through your long explanation, she goes quiet. Her eyes change, and suddenly you feel small. That's what happens when you start justifying yourself. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That's not just philosophy, that's power. When you live by principle, you don't need to defend your actions. Your actions speak for you. Here's the truth most men never realize. Every time you over-explain, you're asking for permission to exist. You're handing over your power. And women, especially the strong, emotionally intelligent ones, can sense it immediately. They can tell when a man's calm confidence starts to crumble under pressure. Let me tell you a story. There was a man, let's call him Adam. Adam was dating a woman he really liked. They had chemistry, passion, and long late-night talks. But one evening she asked him, "So, I saw you like that girl's post. Who is she?" Adam felt the heat rise in his chest. He rushed into defense mode. "Oh, she's just a friend. We've known each other for years." "I didn't mean anything by it." The more he explained, the colder she became. Why? Because his tone revealed fear. Fear of losing her approval. What Adam didn't understand was this. When you start defending, you imply guilt, even when you're innocent. Now imagine if he'd taken the Stoic approach. He looks at her calmly and says, "She's a friend. I liked the post. That's all. No extra words, no nervous tone, no apology for being himself." That calm, grounded energy, that's what Marcus Aurelius meant by self-command. You don't owe explanations for every move you make. When your intentions are clear within yourself, you don't need to convince anyone else. Machiavelli, in The Prince, warned rulers of the same trap. He wrote that powerful men must speak with certainty, because uncertainty invites manipulation. A man who constantly explains himself becomes predictable, weak and easy to control. But a man who speaks directly and then goes silent keeps his power. And here's the twist. Women don't want a man who obeys every emotional demand. They want a man who's calm enough to stay himself under pressure. When you say less, you leave space for curiosity. When you defend less, you appear confident. And when you justify nothing, you project strength, not arrogance, but inner peace. Remember, you don't need to convince her that you're a good man. You need to be one. The next time she tests you, pause. Look into her eyes. Answer once, clearly and calmly. Then stop talking. Let silence do the rest. Because when you don't explain, when you don't justify, your composure becomes your language. It says, "I know who I am. I don't need your approval to confirm it." And that's when her respect deepens, because she realizes she's in the presence of something rare. A man who's not desperate to be understood, but strong enough to simply be. 4. Charm without needing to please. Have you ever met a woman who made your heart race? And without even realizing it, you started trying too hard? You complimented her too much, laughed a little louder at her jokes, agreed with things you didn't really agree with, just to keep her interested. It's okay. Every man's been there. You start out wanting connection, but slowly you slip into performance, and that's where your power begins to fade. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That means never betray your truth just to be liked. Because when your words are shaped by the need to impress, you stop being authentic. You become an actor in your own story. Here's what most men don't realize. Charm is not about trying to please her. Charm is what happens when you're so comfortable in your own skin that your calmness draws her in. You see, women can feel when a man's attention is pure versus when it's desperate. Desperate attention feels heavy. It's like you're trying to pull her toward you, but grounded attention feels magnetic, like you're simply inviting her in. There's a difference. Let me tell you a story that might sound familiar. There was a man named Daniel. He was the kind of guy who always tried to be nice. He'd open doors, compliment her every 5 minutes, agree with everything she said. At first, women appreciated it, but over time they lost interest. One day he met a woman named Lila. She was confident, radiant, and sharp. Daniel did what he always did. He showered her with praise, told her how amazing she was. She smiled politely, but her eyes wandered. The more he tried to please her, the more she pulled away. Then something changed. After a few weeks of heartbreak and frustration, Daniel discovered a quote from Marcus Aurelius that hit him like lightning. "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." He realized his thoughts were always about her approval. So he shifted his focus back to himself, his purpose, his peace, his passions. He stopped chasing. He stopped trying to be liked. And one night, when Lila saw him again, something was different. He was calm, unbothered, still kind, but detached. He didn't compliment her. He didn't chase her eyes. He just was. And suddenly, she leaned in. She asked more questions. She laughed harder. She couldn't explain why. But she felt something powerful. His energy had changed. That's the secret Marcus Aurelius and even Machiavelli understood. True charm is not born from trying to please. It's born from emotional sovereignty, being unshaken, independent and free from need. It's born from emotional sovereignty, being unshaken, independent and free from need. You see, women are not drawn to the man who worships them. They're drawn to the man who respects them, but doesn't depend on them for validation. Machiavelli wrote that rulers should be loved if possible, feared if necessary, but never dependent on either. In love, that means be warm but not needy, be kind but not desperate. When you stop trying to be everything she wants, you start becoming everything she feels. Because the most attractive man is the one who doesn't need to convince anyone he's valuable. His silence, his self-assured smile, and his grounded presence already say everything. So the next time you talk to a woman, don't flatter to fill space. Don't perform. Don't bend your truth. Just be present. Speak slowly. Mean every word. And when you smile, let it come from peace, not pressure. Because that's real charm. That's when your energy tells her, without words, I see you, but I don't need you to complete me. And when a woman feels that calm, unshakable energy, she won't just like you. She'll respect you. And that respect is what turns attraction into something unforgettable. Of control the frame or lose the game. Have you ever been in a conversation with a woman and suddenly you felt like the energy shifted, like you weren't leading anymore? Maybe she started teasing you, questioning your choices, or acting distant. And before you knew it, you were trying to win her back in that moment, trying to prove you were still good enough. That, my friend, is when you lost the frame. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." And this is exactly what controlling the frame means. It's not about controlling her. It's about staying so emotionally grounded that nothing she says can control you. Because here's a hard truth most men don't want to hear. Every conversation between a man and a woman is a subtle exchange of frames. Invisible power dynamics. Who's leading? Who's reacting? Who's setting the tone? When you lose emotional control, when you get defensive, when you chase, when you try to explain, you give her the frame. And once she has it, the game is over. Let me give you a story you'll never forget. There was a man named Aidan. He was confident, at least until he met Clara. She was beautiful, witty, unpredictable, and she knew exactly how to test him. One evening, they were out together when she said something sharp, almost dismissive. "You're cute, but you're not really my type." Aidan froze. His ego panicked. He laughed nervously, tried to joke back, said, "Well, maybe I can change your mind." She smiled, but deep down she knew. She had taken control of the frame. Why? Because the moment he reacted to her words, she became the leader. He started following her emotional rhythm instead of his own. A few months later, Aidan learned something powerful, a principle Machiavelli himself would have admired. Machiavelli said, "He who controls perception controls reality." Aidan realized he didn't need to fight for control. He just needed to stay calm and keep his perception steady. So when Clara tested him again, this time saying, "You think too much of yourself," he simply smiled and replied, "Maybe, but that's better than thinking too little." Then he went quiet. No reaction, no apology, just confidence wrapped in calmness. And in that silence, the frame shifted back. She blinked, smiled, then laughed because she felt it. She felt his composure, his unbothered energy. And in that moment, she respected him more than ever. You see, when you control the frame, you're not playing games. You're leading the emotional tone. Marcus Aurelius lived this truth daily as emperor. He faced betrayal, chaos, and criticism, but never let anyone dictate his inner world. That's what made him untouchable. The same applies in relationships. When she tests you, and she will, don't panic. Don't explain. Don't compete for approval. Breathe. Smile. Stay grounded. Because the one who stays calm sets the tone. And here's the secret. Women love when a man holds the frame. Not because he's dominant, but because his composure makes her feel safe. It tells her, this man won't crumble when life gets hard. He's steady. That steadiness is rare. That steadiness is attractive. That steadiness is power. So from now on, remember this simple rule. You are the frame. Your emotions are the foundation of every interaction. If you stay calm, you lead. If you react, you follow. The frame isn't what you say, it's how you feel while saying it. And once you learn to command your own emotional state, you'll never lose control again. Not in conversations, not in relationships, not in life. Because as Marcus Aurelius taught us, mastery of the mind is mastery of everything. 6. Desire nothing, and you'll attract everything. The paradox of power. Have you ever noticed that the moment you really want someone, it's like they start slipping away? You text them more, you think about them all the time, you replay every moment in your head. And suddenly, the more you desire them, the more distant they become. It's painful, isn't it? That strange power shift, where the one who wants less somehow holds more control. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." In simple terms, your suffering doesn't come from rejection. It comes from your attachment to an outcome. Now imagine this. There's a man named Elias. He meets a woman who seems perfect. Her laugh, her eyes, the way she makes him feel alive again. At first everything flows naturally. She's into him. He's calm, confident, playful. Fear of not being enough. And fear repels attraction. Elias didn't realize it then, but his energy changed. He started texting faster, reacting more, explaining himself. He stopped being the calm, centered man she fell for, and became the anxious version trying to win her attention. And slowly, she pulled away. But here's where the story turns. Months later, after she was gone, Elias picked up Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and one line hit him like lightning. He who desires nothing possesses everything. He finally understood. The secret wasn't to stop caring about women. It was to stop needing them. When you desire nothing, you radiate something far more magnetic. Freedom. And women can sense that. Because here's the truth. A man who doesn't need anything from a woman becomes infinitely more attractive to her. He's not trying to take energy. He's giving it. He's not chasing validation. He's offering presence. He's the man who can enjoy her without clinging to her. And ironically, that's the man women chase. Think about it. When you were the most desired, wasn't it when you didn't care as much? When you were focused on your purpose, your goals, your peace? When you weren't checking your phone every minute? That's the paradox Marcus was talking about. The less you need, the more you attract. Because desire turns into pressure, and pressure kills attraction. But freedom, emotional independence, that's what draws people in. Machiavelli would have called it strategic detachment. The Stoics called it apatheia, freedom from disturbance. Both mean the same thing. You become untouchable. So the next time you feel yourself slipping into obsession, pause and breathe. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of losing? If your answer is her, then you've already lost yourself. But if your answer is nothing, then you've already won. Because when you no longer need the outcome, you can finally enjoy the moment. When you no longer crave love, love finds you. When you no longer chase, you attract. That's the Stoic paradox that few men ever master. Desire nothing, and you'll attract everything. 7. Use words as weapons, not decorations. The language of power. Have you ever said too much to a woman? Told her how you feel too early? Tried to explain your worth? Or poured your heart out only to feel invisible afterward? It's a brutal feeling, isn't it? You open up hoping to connect, but instead you lose the very attraction you were trying to build. Here's the truth that no one tells you. Your words can either weaken you or weaponize you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." That line isn't just philosophy, it's strategy. It means stop over-talking, start embodying. Most men talk to fill silence. Powerful men talk to create silence. Now, let me take you into a story, one that might feel a little too familiar. There was a man named Adrian. He had fallen deeply for a woman named Sophia, the kind of woman who could light up an entire room just by walking in. Her charm was magnetic, her words sharp and playful. Adrian, being a kind and expressive man, thought honesty and openness would win her heart. He told her how amazing she was, how much he missed her, how deeply he wanted her, At first she smiled. She enjoyed the attention, but soon something shifted. Her replies got shorter, colder. The more Adrian said, the less she responded. He couldn't understand it. He thought love was about expression, but he didn't realize. In the language of attraction, excess words drain mystery. Sophia wasn't drawn to his feelings. She was drawn to his presence. But he replaced presence with persuasion. And here's what Marcus Aurelius and Machiavelli would both tell you if they were alive today. When you over-explain, you surrender your power. Machiavelli wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally," meaning, a wise man uses words strategically, not emotionally. He speaks only when his silence can no longer carry the message. So one day Adrian stopped chasing. He stopped explaining. He started observing. And when he finally spoke, his words were fewer, but sharper. She texted, "You've changed. You're quieter now." He replied, "I'm just listening more." That one line said more than 1,000 romantic confessions ever could. She was intrigued again. Why? Because mystery returned. Adrian had learned the art of using words as weapons, not decorations. Every word had intention. Every silence had weight. You see, men who use words wisely understand something fundamental. When you speak less, your presence says more. When you pause before answering, you project control. When you speak with calm precision, people lean in. Women, and people in general, respect men whose words feel like they mean something. The Stoics called this logos, speech guided by reason, not emotion. When Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations, he wasn't trying to impress. He wrote in short, potent reflections, each one a blade of truth. No fluff, no performance, just raw wisdom. You must treat your words the same way. Each one should carry power, or not be spoken at all, because every time you talk just to fill space, you dull your edge. Every time you chase validation through words, you lower your value. But when you learn to be intentional, when you speak like a man who already knows his worth, that's when your words become dangerous. Not because they hurt, but because they influence. And here's the paradox. When you stop talking to prove yourself, people start listening to understand you. Your words become rare, and in rarity lies value. So from now on, remember this. Your silence builds tension. Your words release it. Master both, because women don't fall for the man who talks the most. They fall for the man whose few words stay with them long after he's gone. That's the true art of using words, not as decoration, but as weapons. 8. Don't chase attention, command presence. The aura of stillness. Have you ever walked into a room and felt invisible? You tried to make conversation, tried to be funny, maybe even overcompensated a little. But no one really noticed you. And then there's that one guy, calm, quiet, barely saying a word, yet somehow everyone's eyes naturally go to him. He's not loud, he's not showing off, but he owns the room. Why is that? Marcus Aurelius would have said, "Be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it." That right there is presence, not the noise you make, but the stillness you hold. There was a man named Leo. He wasn't the best looking or the richest, but he had something that no one could quite describe. When he entered a space, people noticed, not because he demanded attention, but because his energy commanded it. And here's what's interesting. Leo used to be the complete opposite. He used to chase validation. He'd tell stories louder, laugh harder, text more, and try to please women just to be liked. But deep down he was tired of pretending, tired of chasing. 9. The calm man always wins. The Stoic advantage. How many times have you lost someone not because you were wrong, but because you lost your cool? Because you reacted too fast, texted too much, said something you regretted, or tried to fix a situation that only needed silence. If you're honest with yourself, you've been there. We all have. But here's the truth most men don't realize. In the psychology of attraction, and even in life itself, the calm man always wins. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events, Realize this and you will find strength. That line alone can transform your entire approach to relationships, arguments, and attraction. Because the man who can stay calm when everything is falling apart is the man who cannot be controlled. There was a man named Noah. He had been dating a woman named Isabel, passionate, unpredictable, and at times emotionally intense. One evening, after a minor misunderstanding, Isabel started testing him, throwing sharp words, pulling away emotionally, trying to provoke a reaction. Noah could feel his anger building. He wanted to defend himself, to explain, to argue, to win the moment. But then he remembered something his grandfather once told him. "Son, when a storm hits, don't fight the wind, stand still and let it pass." So Noah didn't react. He looked at her, stayed silent, and simply said, "I understand how you feel. Let's talk when we're both calm." He left it at that. Isabel expected a fight. She got peace. She expected chaos. She got control. And that's when the dynamic shifted completely. Because in that moment, Noah didn't just control himself, he controlled the frame. His calmness made her emotions feel exaggerated. His composure made her storm look smaller. Within hours, she texted him first. Her tone had softened, because calm energy disarms emotional chaos every single time. That's what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In modern dating and in life, it means this. When others lose control, you rise above by not reacting. That's where true power lies. Machiavelli would have called it strategic composure. The Stoics called it apatheia, freedom from emotional disturbance. The world will always test you. Women will test your patience. People will test your limits. Life will test your strength. But if you stay calm, you stay in control. Because here's the secret. Emotional control equals magnetic energy. A calm man radiates security, and security is irresistible. Women feel safe around calm men because calmness means certainty. And certainty is something few people can provide in today's anxious world. You don't need to be emotionless. You just need to master your response. You can feel anger, but don't act on it. You can feel sadness, but don't drown in it. You can feel love, but don't lose yourself in it. Noah learned this the hard way. Every time he stayed calm, situations resolved themselves naturally. Every time he reacted emotionally, things fell apart. Over time, people began to notice. Friends came to him for advice. Women respected him more. Even at work, his composure during chaos made him a leader. Because calmness is not passivity, it's command. It's the invisible language of leadership. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire under constant pressure, betrayal and war, yet he never let anger rule his mind. He didn't win every battle with swords, he won them with stillness. You must become like that, because the calm man never rushes, never chases, never begs for peace, he creates it. When you stay calm, you think clearer, you speak wiser, you attract better, and most importantly, you maintain control of your soul. That's what women feel when they meet a man with stoic calmness. He's not easily moved, not easily impressed, and not easily broken. He's a storm inside a still ocean. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, pause, take a breath. Remember, the storm will pass, but your reaction will define you. Because in every situation, in love, in conflict, in life, the loudest man rarely wins. The calm man always does. Think about it. Every man who begged, texted, chased, or tried to force connection lost it. But the man who walked away with calm certainty, he became unforgettable because absence forces reflection. It allows her to feel what your presence used to give. It creates the tension that reawakens attraction. Marcus Aurelius said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. When you obsess over her attention, you give away your peace. When you detach and return to your center, you reclaim it." The Stoic doesn't ghost. He withdraws with grace. He doesn't disappear to manipulate. He disappears to rebalance. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop needing her energy, she'll start chasing yours. Because energy flows towards strength, not desperation. Daniel learned this truth the hard way, but once he did, everything changed. He stopped begging for love and love started finding him. He stopped texting first, and now women text him first. He stopped proving his worth and started living it. That's the Stoic way. Let her wonder what you're doing. Let her feel the silence you used to fill. Let her realize how peaceful it was when your energy was around, because only when she feels your absence will she truly understand your value. And if she doesn't come back, that's fine too. Because the man who masters absence never loses. He either regains respect or regains himself. So remember this final Stoic law. When your presence no longer moves her, your absence will. Be the man who can walk away without anger, without fear, without ego, because that's the man she'll never forget. Closing thought. So remember, talking to women is not about tactics, pick-up lines, or fake confidence. It's about mastering yourself. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And as Machiavelli would remind you, the ends are won by those who remain unshaken. Master your emotions, your silence, your presence, and you won't just talk to women. You'll influence them without saying a word. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.